Enjoy your French fragrance by seeking the correct advice at Neil Werner Pharmacy, Shepparton.
You're watching Channel 6 Regional News. Outside help was brought in at the weekend to help complete the Eildon Community Centre.
Builders of the centre were faced with the problem of laying 240 square metres of flooring, but lacked the labour until members of the Masonic Lodge's Eastern Zone Task Force decided to lend a hand. The Lodge has 650 members ready to work in any major area, and 20 members travel to Eildon to help with the community project. The completed cost of the project is expected to be $160,000, this being raised locally by the Alexander Shire Council and the government contribution. Much voluntary labour has gone into the project, saving over $100,000 of the overall cost. Once completed, the centre will provide for indoor sports, community functions and senior citizens' rooms. Councillor Tommy Marr of Eildon, a member of the Community Centres Committee, said that without the help of the voluntary labour brought into the area, the 240 square metres of floor could not have been laid. He said he wished to thank all those who have put in voluntary labour into the project that'll soon be a reality.
The first stage of the multi-million-dollar Numurkah Lakeside Village will be officially opened on November the 28th by the Minister for Youth, Sport and Recreation, Mr Brian Dixon. Mr Dixon will also open the new $85,000 squash courts at Numurkah on the same day. The first stage of the Lakeside Village project is almost $1 million development. This features a 20.2 hectare lake to be used by yachts, canoes, paddle boats and for fishing. A 2.8 hectare island on which 780 trees have been planted will be used as a fauna park, while a further island of 1.2 hectares is for a future motel restaurant development. Mr Kel Sidebottom, who with his family is carrying out the development, said today the 78 residential sites were to be developed in conjunction with this project. The first ever agricultural show to be held at Marysville was conducted at the weekend.
The show is conducted by the Wirianda Festival Committee of Marysville, who run the agricultural show under the auspices of the Royal Agricultural Society of Victoria. In previous years, the committee had held a gymkhana as part of their annual festival, but this year they decided to apply to the Agricultural Society for permission to run an agricultural show. After gaining permission, the enthusiastic committee put together quite an impressive show. Organisers reported a highly successful show day, and it will now become an annual event to be known as the Marysville Wirianda Festival and Agricultural Show.
Maribna Park Primary School will have to wait at least 12 months before it can get a traffic officer for the Mac Isaac Road crossing. The Assistant Shire Engineer, Mr D Hunt, reported to Council that a pedestrian vehicle count was taken at the Maribna Park Primary School crossing on October the 1st. Mr Hunt said that the roster warranted for the inclusion of a school crossing attendant are a minimum of 50 children per hour and 200 vehicles in the same hour. Councillor John Gray moved that the application for an attendant at the Maribna Park Primary School be held in abeyance for 12 months or until the traffic count for Mac Isaac Road substantially increases to somewhere near the minimum of 200 vehicles per hour. Council agreed to the proposal. The Rutherglen Gun Club has just opened their season with quite a successful shoot.
Clubsmen have spent a lot of time in the grounds and have just recently installed a new clay target machine. A slight breeze tended to affect the clays, but otherwise weather conditions were ideal for a perfect shoot. Visitors came from a wide area to take part in the Rutherglen Gun Club's season opening. Being an unaffiliated club, they can decide on what weekends competitions can be held. One of the main trophies for the day, the Duvel Double, was won by Gary Robinson and Gary Sanders. Members were also proud to display to locals and visitors their newly purchased guns and equipment.
We'll continue with Channel 6 Regional News after this break.
The Goulburn Valley Racing Club will hold its meeting next Saturday, November the 8th. You are reminded to be viewing Channel 6 next Friday, November the 7th, when Charlie Rodway will present highlights of the meeting during the regional news, followed by a complete preview in the late news, brought to you with the very best wishes of Lawton's Blinds of Mooroopna and Wodonga. A special off-shear sheep sale will be held at Benalla next Friday, November the 7th at 1:30 p.m. The yarding of 14,000 sheep includes a special offering of 8,000 first cross mixed sex lambs account breeders. Full particulars are in the October the 30th issue of Stock and Land, or contact the selling agents Australian Estates Company, Denny Strawn Mercantile or Elders GM Limited, all of Benalla.
Summer's here and your outside awnings aren't. Never mind, Bush's Blinds can save the situation. They're offering prompt delivery on all outside awnings and you'll save by buying direct from the manufacturer. Shut out the summer heat.